Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Hope you guys are well and healthy. Today's video is a very personal video that I was umming and ahhing about filming and like getting out there, but it is a really positive video. There's going to be a lot of girls that are going through or that are going to go through what I went through. They're probably going to be looking online for, you know, like journeys and stories of girls who have gone through something previous, because it's what I done. So I knew that putting this video out on YouTube could potentially help, even if it's literally just one girl. It's obviously worth it. So I'm going to tell you guys how I managed to cure myself naturally from HPV and clear myself from abnormal cells. I'm going to talk about my journey, give you guys a timeline and go into like some detail, and then I'm going to get into the methods that I used and what I did to heal myself naturally. Let's take it back to 2019. It was actually the end of 2019. I've actually got, okay, so September 2019 I received a letter through the post, which would have been my first smear letter. I think literally that week I booked myself in for a smear, and I went like the following week. It's super easy. You just have to go and see a nurse. You don't have to see a doctor. It's not you have to go like to a specific hospital or anything like that. You're in and out within 10 minutes. So girls, you have nothing to worry about when it comes to smears, because honestly it's over like that. I don't even think it was a week later. I'm gonna say it was like a couple of days later. I got a letter through the post which felt a little bit thick, and I just instantly knew that something was wrong. So I opened the letter, and inside there was a booklet, and I can't remember what booklet it was. And it also came, of course, with the letter, which said the laboratory found some slightly abnormal cells called low-grade dyscoriosis in your sample. And then it went on to say that this result does not mean that you have cancer. The laboratory also tested your sample for HPV and found that you have a HPV infection. So you can imagine reading that, I was just freaking scared. Like, it's probably the only emotion that you can say. My mind went into overdrive, and I was kind of like overthinking things, and I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna have cervical cancer. Why is this happening to me? And then I did what any other person does with any kind of like diagnosis. I went on Google and I researched all of these big words that I had no idea what they meant, and it was telling me everything that my mind was already telling me. Oh, there was one other thing. At the bottom of the letter it says what happens next, and it goes on to say you'll be referred for a colposcopy, so you'll be invited in for a closer examination. So I called the doctors the next morning, and I basically asked them if they had a date for me to be booked in for this colposcopy, and the receptionist on the phone said that I have to wait for an appointment. Me being Hannah, my brain was just in overdrive. Like, it was just like, oh my god, it was torture. And so I remembered that I have private healthcare with my work, luckily, and I'm to this day so thankful. I got in touch, I asked them if I was covered. They ran all their stuff through the computer, and they said, yep, you're covered. We'll send over a couple of names of doctors, pick which one you want, and then call the doctors and book yourself in. I think that was maybe like Thursday or something. So I received this letter on the 17th of September last year, which was Tuesday, and then the following Wednesday I was booked in to speak to this doctor. So I went in, I had a consultation with her. It was all brand new to me as well, so I obviously still had no idea. I hadn't had a doctor explain to me what HPV was, what cervical dysplasia, low grade, CIN1, all these things that I'd found online. I had no idea what they actually meant. She made me feel just so much better about the whole situation. So she explained that there's about 90% of women who contract the virus. It's also something that men can contract. Men don't have any symptoms, but 90% of women contract the virus, and majority of them don't ever know that they have the virus because their immune system gets rid of it. There are 3 stages: low grade, medium grade and high grade, which is also known as CIN1, CIN2 and CIN3. So in my case, I had CIN1, which was the low grade, the bottom. The medium one is the middle, and then the third is high, and that is the stage just before cancer. She then went on to say that the stage that I was at, there isn't necessarily anything that they can do at the first stage. They usually just let your body heal itself from the virus, and if your body heals itself from the virus, then the abnormal cells will go, because I think it's like 99% of cervical cancer is caused by the HPV virus. But if it turned out to be a misdiagnosis and it was worse than what they originally said, so if it was medium or high, there are more conventional Western medicinal routes that they go down in order to kind of like get rid of those cells. But there are women who have been high grade just before cancer and they've managed to cure themselves naturally. So this is just a reassurance of, mine was low, but if yours is medium or high, it doesn't mean that these principles can't be applied to heal you as well. So she then booked me in for my colposcopy, which I believe was that Friday. So I literally saw her on the Wednesday, and then that Friday I was back in. Colposcopy is a little bit more complex. It is a lot longer because it's more intense. Thorough look is probably a better word for it actually. So you go in and you sit down and you put your legs up in this prop thing. It's basically what you would put your legs in if you was having a baby. And what they do is they put this speculum in you, and she has a microscope where she links it up to a TV, and she showed me, she was like, do you want to have a look? And I was like, yeah, why not? So she turned the TV around and she was showing me my cervix, and at first glance, it looked fine. And so then what they do is, if they can't see anything at first glance, they have this solution that they put on a cotton bud and they swirl it around your cervix, and eventually some abnormal cells start to show up. So she was doing that for about 5 minutes, and then eventually you could see like these little 2 cloud-like things show up. So she then said, what we're going to do is we're going to take a biopsy of that and we're going to send it off for testing just to confirm that your original diagnosis is correct, and then we'll book you in for 2 weeks time, and you can come back in and we'll discuss your results and we can talk about like treatment plans and whatnot. I went away, and that is when I started researching. So within that time I came across so many girls who had gone through so many different procedures, and you know, they had changed their lives completely. Women who had healed themselves naturally, some women who had to go through some more extensive treatment. And it wasn't to like be negative about anything, it was kind of just covering all bases, so that if I went in there I kind of knew what I'd be expecting and wasn't going in blindly. So anyway, so yeah, I did quite a lot of research, and I was looking into a lot of like the natural way, because I'm all about doing things naturally, and there's obviously nothing against Western medicine. It's incredible, it saves people's lives every friggin' day, but I always take a natural route before going down a Western medicine route. It's just something that I'm passionate about, it's something that I love, and so that was always going to be the route for me first. So I then came back in, had my follow-up with her, and she confirmed what my original diagnosis was, that I had the HPV virus and that I was at CIN1. And she basically reiterated the fact that there was nothing that they could do. That all she could say was that I go away and I come back in a year's time, and hopefully within that year my immune system gets its arse in gear and basically kicks the virus away, and therefore I won't have any abnormal cells on my cervix. And that was it. I literally left and I was on my own. But I've gone through health issues before with things, and I've dealt with it, and I know that there's probably nothing that I can't face that I won't deal with. So I just had to have trust for myself and basically just do the most that I could, because that's all I could do anyway. Now we're going to get into the methods of what I did, and I'm actually really excited to tell you guys, because I know that this is going to honestly help so many girls. So, well, the initial 2 things that I looked at was anything which wasn't giving me any nutritional benefit towards my health, anything that was kind of stressing my body out even more, giving me like adrenal fatigue, adding toxins in my body, and anything like that had to go. So I had to do a real cleanse. I cleansed out all of the shit. Like, I wasn't into it. I didn't want it. I didn't want to put any more strain on my body to kind of detox the bad stuff I was already putting in it. The first thing that went was smoking. The day that I actually got my results back, the 17th of September last year, I stopped smoking and I haven't touched a cigarette since. My smoking was kind of like a roller coaster and all over the place. For years I've been like trying to stop smoking and then I would get back into it. Stress was always a huge factor with smoking for me, and I definitely lent on it when it came to stress, but I just had to find another something to lean on when it came to stress. So smoking went. I then had a massive look at my diet, because the past couple of years I've really been on this journey of becoming a lot more healthier with my diet anyway, because I used to be so unhealthy when I was younger and it had a lot of detrimental effects to my health. And so I promised myself that I was just going to love myself and give myself goodness, but I really needed to like up the ante on it. I needed to give my body an abundance of vegetables, fruits, good minerals, nuts, seeds, like all these minerals and vitamins and vegetables and micronutrients. I had to give myself everything and more so that my body could really start to cleanse and detox. But I needed like my meals to be 90% veg and 10% anything else. But we're also talking like legumes, beans, anything which is a whole food and veg. There was days where I would just have like a bowl of veg, and we're talking like cruciferous veg as well, like the veggies that nobody likes because they taste like veg and they're not that nice, but they're so freaking good for you, so you just gotta force it sometimes. And that was something that I was really consistent with, and I still am to this day. I then upped the ante on the amount of fruits I was having, because as I was doing my research I saw that fruit is actually better for your body to detox and to cleanse. So if you're trying to like cleanse your cells and replenish them, fruit is actually the way forward. So I literally was having like at least 2 juices a day, and we're talking like fresh juices. I was eating so much more fruit. I would have that for breakfast. What I was doing with having more fruits and veg is I was having so much more natural produce. I was getting through that much fruit and veggies that everything stayed in the fridge, and I would basically eat all of that in a week. I eliminated sugars, so like refined sugars, which I didn't have a huge amount of, but I was eating them, and refined sugars literally just cause inflammation in your body and you don't need them. There's so many other natural sugars. You've got like argive syrup, which is so nice. You've got coconut sugar, you've got things like dates, and so refined sugars was a no-no. I also wasn't buying anything that had any preservatives in e-colors or like chemicals that weren't good. If I didn't recognize anything on the ingredients list, I just wouldn't buy it. And like I said, I didn't want to put anything in my body that my body was going to be taking the time to detox and flush out, because I really wanted it to like focus on the virus. So those were the main things that I'd done with food. And I always talk about food first, because primarily you always want to be getting like your nutrition and stuff from food. If you didn't have like supplementation there, then you would only have your food to rely on, and then you use your supplements to boost that. I've just noticed that I haven't looked at my notes once, so I'm just going to quickly have a look. Oh yeah, one other thing I'll note about food is that I am about 90% plant-based and 10% I have like an intake of fish, but I don't have any eggs, dairy or meat. So I'm not saying that that is the route that you should go down and that's the diet for you. I do it because my body like genuinely is like thriving on a predominantly plant-based diet. It might probably be the case for you, and it also might help you get in those fruits and veggies at a higher dosage than it would if you was consuming all of the other things. So it might be an option for you to look into. And I then want to mention that I was having a lot of vitamin C intake with my foods. I was having things like Camu Camu powder and Glucan powder, which are extremely high in vitamin C. Boabab powder. I was having Chlorella, spirulina, chia seeds. I was also having matcha, which is a really high green tea. I was having turmeric and ginger shots. Turmeric is anti-inflammatory, anti-cancer components in it, and then you've got ginger, which is really good for your gut. And then I want to talk about something that hardly anybody talks about because nobody knows it. So I started taking something called CMOS. I'm not going to speak too much about because obviously you can go and do your research. I'll link all of this stuff down below as well and any other information. But CMOS has, I think, 92 minerals of the 112 that your body needs daily. Not a lot of people know about this, and I have no idea why. To be honest, I found out about it maybe 2 years ago. But sea moss alone has such good health benefits that alone in itself is taken and can promote health. Like, it's mental. It's almost like black seed oil, because I was taking black seed oil as well, and it's something that black seed oil is something that I've been taking for ages now. All of them together combined is just like a beautiful concoction, basically. It's gonna really support your body, and it's gonna give your body everything that it's lacking in. It's gonna help support your body. So if, like, at the time I had like major adrenal fatigue, my lifestyle was just insane. I was drinking a lot of alcohol, I was getting hardly any sleep, my work schedule was insane, my social schedule was insane, didn't react well to stress or like negative emotions. I was like, you know, like a sensitive flower. I stressed my body out basically to the point where it was like running on zero and there was nothing, so I had to like refill the tank. So sea moss is also something else which is really good to look into, and once you do your research you're probably going to be like, I need to get some of this. And so I think that was everything for food. Yeah. The other things I want to add is that I started intermittent fasting. Me and my boyfriend actually both started intermittent fasting April, I want to say, of this year. We had both done so much research on it and found that it's incredible for your body. I mean, essentially what it is it's allowing a window period of time for your body to detox and digest anything that you've consumed, because otherwise what happens is you're literally just like filling yourself up with loads of stuff that your body never digests, and then the stuff at the bottom of the bin, let's say, ends up like rotten and undigested and quite harmful. So I started doing dry intermittent fasting, which is like no food and no liquid. I did that from April and I'm still doing it now. So I usually stop eating around, let's say 8 or 9 p.m. and then I'll eat at like 11 or 12 the next day. So I usually do about a 16-hour fast. The next thing was cutting down on alcohol. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I do love a drink, and if you live in London or if you're like a social bird, you probably are gonna feel the exact same. And it's something that I had to look into and change, because alcohol does compromise your immune health, and drinking too much alcohol, it just isn't good for your body anyway. So I cut down massively on the amount that I was drinking, and I also looked into the type of alcohol I was drinking. So I wasn't having like the sugary fizzy ones, which was, you know, like full of sugar and other crap. I was drinking more like organic red wine and, you know, like being all fancy. But I was drinking the proper stuff that was a little bit better for me. Now let's get on to supplements. So I focused on these supplements because I had done so much research on them, and I felt personally that these supplements were the best ones for me, for your immune system, and anything else was just unnecessary or wasting my money. Found this gal online called Hannah Banana, and she basically brought up these two supplements, and she had high grade, so CIN1 cervical dysplasia. She managed to cure herself from that in I think 4 months, from taking these two supplements, doing some suppositories and changing her diet, which is mental. So I did a lot of research into the supplements myself and found that they had incredible studies. The first one we're going to talk about is this one here called AHCC. So it's a mushroom combination which supports your killer T cells, also known as your killer white cells. Lab studies have suggested that AHCC may enhance the activity of some types of immune cells. Animal studies suggest that AHCC has antioxidant and anti-inflammatory effects and may improve immune system response in mice with chemotherapy weakened immune system. So chemotherapy weakened immune system, we're talking like, that's like serious. And I took 3,000 milligrams. I know it sounds a lot, but it's what they suggest. 3,000 milligrams of this a day. I would wake up in the morning and I would have these on an empty stomach. I would wait half an hour and then I would take the next supplement, which is beta glucan. I don't actually have the bottle here. I'm going to insert a picture for you guys to see. And beta glucan is a natural polysaccharide that is classified as an immunomodulator, meaning it modulates, which is changes, your immune system to make it as effective as possible. This fiber-like molecule works by activating every immune system cell in the body. So beta glucan basically boosts all of your B and T cells and get rid of any invaders that are in your body, because that's what you want. Your killer T cells, you want them to be getting rid of any invaders that are in your body, anything which is causing you harm. Next thing I took was zinc. Zinc is really good for your immune system. It's been known for so long now, studies have been created, it will say on every bottle it's good for your immune system. And so I was taking 2 of these a day. I really love this website called Fushi, and I really trust their product. It doesn't have a lot of fillers in it, which a lot of other brands use. The next supplement I was taking was vitamin C. Vitamin C is so important for you to be having because it is so incredible for your immune system. So I was taking a vitamin C tablet as well. I was also taking something called mushroom gold. I don't have any of those in right now, so I'll insert a picture here as well. And I was kind of like having these on and off along with AHCC. So sometimes I wouldn't have the AHCC, so I would take the mushroom gold, or sometimes I would have both together, lower mushroom gold, same dosage of AHCC, just to kind of boost and get a bit more in there. I was also taking folic acid because I read in a study, and you can see from your own research as well, that folic acid is really good at cell renewal and keeping your cells nice and healthy, which is why they recommend pregnant women to have it. So those are the main supplements I was taking. I was taking a few other bits here and there, but nothing consistent enough for me to kind of say this healed me and whatnot. I will link them down below if you guys just, you know, want to take that too. 2 other things that I'm going to talk about, and then we are done. I also made some suppositories that I took for about 5 to 6 months. It took me that long to get through them just because I wasn't using them every single day. So a suppository is basically a concoction that you insert into yourself, and mine was made of lemon essential oil, lemongrass oil and coconut oil. And so I had a certain amount of lemongrass oil and coconut oil all melted down, and then I put it into it's almost like an ice cube tray of like these little love heart ones. I would put it in the freezer for about an hour, and then I would put it in a glass jar and keep it in the fridge. I then once or twice a week, just before going to bed, would put one in and fall asleep, and then as soon as I ran out of them, that was it, I was done. It wasn't something I wanted to do long term. My family was really concerned about me using them, but I just trusted in myself again. I knew that I would stop doing anything that was potentially harming me. The last thing I want to talk about, which is so important but was the hardest, was reducing stress. So if you obviously go through stress, you know, if someone says to you, oh, just chill out, or, you know, just stop stressing about it, it's easier said than done, right? And I know saying this to you, just chill out, don't stress, everything is going to be fine. What the hell do I know? I know everyone's stress is out differently, and everyone has different symptoms of stress. My stress has always affected me physically, like I can feel it, and it affects my body. So I always knew that it wasn't good for me anyway. Stress is something that mentally you have to work on, because okay, you can change up your food and you can take your supplements and you can do this and you can do that, because those are, you know, external things that you're initially putting in instantly. Stress doesn't work like that. Hey guys, sorry, my battery died. So yeah, I was talking about stress and how easy it is for some people to obviously tell you to calm down in stress and to kind of like get your cortisol levels under control and whatnot, because essentially the part of healing is to be like really zen. But of course it's not that easy to do, and I get it. But there are a few things that I done and it might be able to help you, and stress is such a huge factor when it comes to any kind of healing, and it should be taken as seriously as all of the rest. So I started journaling my thoughts and feelings. Good thing about writing your thoughts and feelings down is that sometimes you write things down that you didn't even know was in your head, or was a thought and emotion that you thought you would even talk about. And so it's kind of like getting the extra stuff off your chest so that you can kind of like cope with all of the other stuff. I remember for months and months and months seeing people say it's really good to start journaling and writing down your emotions and feelings, and I was just kind of like, huh, how can that help? It does. Just give it a try. It might work for you, it might not, but it's worth it. I then was really consistent with my grateful journal. So every day I would write something that I was grateful for, and it allowed me to really open my eyes and see the things that were good rather than just seeing the bad. I then did a lot of breath work through meditation, which allowed me to kind of get in control of any moments that I was feeling like overwhelmed or anxious. And then I just started having more fun. I started realizing that life doesn't have to be so serious. You don't have to overthink everything. There's going to be a day when we're all not going to be here. So what is the point in overthinking things and being scared of stuff and putting yourself down and being mean to yourself? I started loving myself more and just like looking at myself and saying nice things rather than negative things that I used to previously say, like, you know, about appearances and comparing yourself and things like that. I just stopped caring. I would give myself daily affirmations. I would be nicer to other people. I would stop being in my head so much and overthinking things, and that really helped with reducing stress. So that's it. That's all of the things that I done as a whole that helped me get a letter through the post, which was really good news. And I just want to reiterate the fact that if you're watching videos that are telling you that you can't get rid of the virus and that it's going to be there forever, I mean, the thing is with a virus or anything like that, of course it could come back. Just with any illness, you can contract any illness, and once you've had an illness you can get it back. That's just life, you know, that's just the human body. But if you're doing certain things to look after yourself and to boost your immune system, doing things that make you happy and living your life, there shouldn't really be a reason why, you know, it does come back or anything like that. So yeah, I really hope that this video helped a few of you girls out there that are going through a time which is really scary. I get it. The unknown is always really scary and it has a lot of fear there, but you can do it, and I hope that this video helped. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. Feel free to message me if you need any more information about anything. And yeah, like I said before, everything is going to be linked below, so you don't have to like be skipping back and forth in the video. And stay healthy and happy, and I'll see you soon. Bye.